Going ahead and recording our session today. So,
That's awesome.
everyone, our discussion about taking your career and job fairs virtual. Before I get started, I just want to ask that everyone who's on the line, go ahead and mute your phone or your microphone, however you're joining us today, so that we can avoid background noise. We have a large number of folks signed up to join us today, and so we're excited to get this discussion started, to hear from our two speakers who are going to kick us off, and then to have that opportunity for all of us to discuss what you're doing in your communities to take your job and career fairs virtual. As I said, we are recording today's session, so if you have to drop off early for any reason, you will be able to access that recording after today's session, or share it with any colleagues who maybe were not able to join today. So just to give a quick overview of today's format, we're going to start by hearing from two of your chamber peers, and then we're going to take the second half or so of our time today. We're going to break out into two separate groups using Zoom breakout rooms today, so that we can have a little bit more of a roundtable discussion. Given the large number of folks that are signed up for today's discussion, we just wanted there to be slightly smaller groups to have those conversations in. So we'll aim to leave about half an hour or so for that discussion. But as I said, we have two speakers who are joining us today to talk a little bit about what they have done to move their career and job fairs virtual. I'd like to start by introducing them, and then I will turn it over to them to share briefly what they've been doing. So I'll start with Kate Lee. Kate Lee is the Executive Director of Education and Workforce at the South Bend Regional Chamber. She focuses on building relationships and collaboration between business and education, and engages with others working to align individual talents with high-demand workforce needs for mutual success and growth. Kate directs Intern South Bend Region and Summer Connect programs, which are designed to increase business access to talented and enthusiastic young students and provide students with real-world experience to improve their skills, the broader community, and each other. Kate is currently leading the development of Industry Connected Career Launch, a program to create awareness of job, career, and education and training opportunities among high school and post-secondary students and adults seeking new challenges. And we also have joining us today Kent Ballard. Kent is the Workforce Education Specialist with the Huntsville-Madison Chamber of Commerce in Huntsville, Alabama. In this role, he empowers students, faculty, and administrators to develop tomorrow's workforce through effective resources and informational insight. Kent recently developed a 10-unit online career preparedness curriculum for the Huntsville-Madison Chamber's website, asmartplace.com. The curriculum is designed to strategically assist students in understanding more about the opportunities in North Alabama and is already being used in 8 school districts in the area. Kent has a background in education and administration and has worked to support students in a variety of capacities during his career. So I'm going to start by turning this over to Kate, who's going to kick us off, and then we'll hear from Kent. If you do have questions for Kent or Kate during their presentations, please feel free to use the chat box, and I'll read those questions out to them, and we'll ask questions through chat for this first portion of the conversation. So with that, Kate, I'll turn it over to you.
Awesome. Thank you, Amy. Hope everybody is doing well in these strange times that we're living in. The virtual times is what we're living in, I guess, for now. Hopefully not forever. So thanks for everybody for attending today. And I'm just gonna, our career event did not start as a virtual event. Our planning started, I think, last November. We started planning career launch. Super excited, working with all of 15 different high schools to do one awesome career event for, particularly, we were focusing on graduating seniors who might not have a plan, but also any kids who are still trying to figure out kind of what their pathway was going to be in high school, what they might do after they graduate. And in addition, we had added on, it was a 2-day event, and we were adding on a session for adults, college students, and parents to come back with their kids to talk to those employers and learn about job opportunities. So we had 89 employers, and probably 10 of those were, I don't know the exact count, 10 were post-secondary training. We had lots of the Carpenters Union, lots of trades who were going to come and talk to the students. So we had this all worked out for March 24th and 25th, 2020. And we were very excited. We had a radio promotional partner who had been sharing a lot of the information on their multiple radio stations. So we had a really good community response to this. And then COVID, as we all know, has changed a lot of things. I have a big book that we're running in these there's three roads that are parallel. One is going 100 miles per hour trying to respond to all of this. One is like we're stuck in traffic and just waiting to see what's going to happen until they let us go again. And the other one, there seems to be one group of people who's just going along like nothing ever happened. And I haven't quite figured out how they're working that. But so we, at first we were just like, how do we cancel this? How do we let the people who have signed up to be exhibitors know? What does this look like? I mean, as you can imagine, we have put hours in. The logistics of moving 3,000 students through that place in 2 days, buses, we'd had all this worked out, and then we had to pivot. And I feel really blessed to work with a great group at the South Bend Chamber. We have a lot of talent here. And so we thought about it and I said, we had this great booklet done and we said, let's just bring it online. Let's just see what happens. And so we made that pivot. And I'm gonna, if this works, I'm gonna show you what it looks like. I'm gonna share my screen. Oh, look at that, it's like magic. I think can you see it? Oh,
we're not
I had to pick one more button, I think. Now can you see it?
Yes, we can.
Okay, awesome. So this is the Industry Connected Career Launch. We took everything that we had done, we had put together this really great, so all of our sponsors continue to, they were already out there on the our website, but they continue to get recognition. We shifted it, our Amanda, who's our designer on staff, had put together all these great visuals. And so then we went to, let's just take the virtual tour. So we moved everybody who would have been set up in their individual industry pods at the Century Center, and we put them out here and moved them out onto here with our presenting partners. And here they are, and we have this partner directory. If you want to go back out after, if you Google, actually, South Bend Regional Chamber website, you can find this. But Amanda had made this beautiful book that we were going to print, but you can imagine we did save a lot of money by not printing it. So we took that out there so that people can see this flip book that she put together. So this is what they would have got in person, but instead, obviously, they are not. Now I'm not sure how I get back to where I was, so I had to figure this out. Don't know what I just did. See, this is me trying to be, know what I'm doing. Oh, and here we are. And so, and then we divided them up and put hot links to all of their websites here on the Industry and Education Partner website. So you can see we had business services, education and training, healthcare, hospitality and tourism, IT, manufacturing and public services, along with construction trades. So we put all of this out here, believing that it would be a great place for the employers, if they wanted to do something on their landing pages. We sent them logos, we sent them suggestions for, like, maybe they could drop a video out there. Now, many of them are so overwhelmed right now with what's going on with COVID and responding to that, they haven't done a lot with that. But I think the bigger push is we have all these educators who have gone to online education and struggling, especially in the college and careers realm. How do we talk to the students about the different jobs? So we've also supported them by putting together a Google folder that has lesson plan ideas. They can share PowerPoints and other things that they're doing and how they're using this online format. And you'll see here on the website, we also had, there had been an Economic Outlook, which is our local public television station. This is the back of my boss's head who actually hosts that show, Jeff Ray. And so we had an episode that had already been filmed and actually played the day after this didn't happen. So this was a great piece to share so the kids can learn a little bit more about construction trades jobs and hospitality jobs kind of live. So there's video footage as well. So the Google document that we put together, the folder, involves lesson plans and educator insights. Ideally, educators will share things with each other. but or share on this site. But if not, we just keep kind of filling it with resources that they can access. And one educator put together a great lesson plan that goes through all of, like, connects the dots on all of the different pieces that are on that landing page. So we feel like we kind of rebounded and pivoted and did what we needed to do. We've already reserved the date for a live event next year, but there's that pros and cons, right? I love the students having those personal conversations with the employers, but we found by doing this, and we'll get more feedback from the educators after all this is kind of behind us, I guess, and we're into like summer and they're done with their online instruction, to find out if they actually did use it. We're going to ask the employers, the exhibitors, if they saw any increased traffic to their websites during this time. And so this is just kind of what our pivot was, and we're looking at different ways that we can maybe use this going forward. We've had a few who have asked for their money back because it wasn't, one of them surprisingly is actually hiring right now. I'm like, you're a healthcare facility who's hiring and you don't want to still be listed, but okay, we'll take you off the website and give you your $100 back because we didn't charge that much money. But we also gave the employers access to our jobs board. It's typically just for chamber members, but we had some non-chamber members. So we told them they could post on the jobs board through June 5th. So just kind of trying to connect all those dots. And we really won't know how it was used until probably 2 months from now, but I'll be happy to report back on that when we find out. So thank you for the opportunity to share. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Kate. I have a couple of questions that have come in, if you don't mind. One question around, how are you looking at how students are engaging? Have you asked them to visit a certain number of pages or companies? And sort of how are you measuring that?
So that's the lesson plans that were put together. So the one in particular that one of our, I call them teacher friendlies that we have, who is amazing. He's an assistant principal, put together a whole outline, and it had suggested assignments for the educators. So we'll go back out and survey those educators and ask them how they used it. I feel like right now everybody's so overwhelmed. I'm not going to bug teachers with like any kind of input, but I do think if we look at that traffic on the exhibitor websites, and then also survey the educators to find out, we'll get the kind of some of the data around how they were able to use this. And I think in a different non-COVID time, if it wasn't, if they weren't trying to manage online education and all that, I think we'd be able to monitor that better. But it's just, just because it was kind of a last minute pivot, it's a little bit different. But it gives us a good framework if we decide to do it just like this going forward.
Great, thanks. And as you all made this this transition, did you talk at all about sort of your own metrics for success, or what you think success would look like with this pivot?
Yeah, we really did. We felt like real success would be if our educators saw this as a tool, and again, particularly focused on, I think there are probably a lot of graduating seniors who are in a really weird place right now. I just can't even imagine. And to allow them to look at this and say, okay, so maybe I'm not going to go to college this fall because dad lost his job and there's strange things happening. And so if I wasn't going to do that, where can I go to look for a job locally? Who is going to hire? Because then they go to the chamber jobs board and also see who is still hiring, because not everybody is. Suggest additional training through the partners, and really just give the career coaches and counselors and the educators who are having those conversations with students some tools to use to navigate that. We also sent it out to all of our college career offices in the local area. So some of those coaches are going to use it as well. So again, we'll get the feedback from them and see how it was leveraged. And hopefully employers, if they do hire someone, those someones will be saying, I found out about it through career launch. And they'll tell us that, because they don't always tell you everything they find out.
Great. And then just to clarify, all of this was just done through your chamber website. You didn't use any third-party vendors or anything like that for the development of this?
No, because there's really no interaction. The only, I guess, interaction would be on our chamber jobs board where people can apply. So we just kind of used the tools we had in front of us. And our chambers also stepped up as kind of the COVID response coordinator on behalf of the county and the city of South Bend. So we're like up to our, I'm really happy we didn't make this more interactive, because we're kind of up to our neck with a lot of that community engagement and making sure we have aligned messaging in the county right now.
Great. Well, I know there's some other questions coming in, but I want to make sure that we have time for Kent to talk a little bit about the work that they've been doing. So I'm going to go ahead and transition over to Kent to share his story, and there'll be additional time for questions and more discussion a little bit later. So Kent, take it away.
Thank you, Amy, and hello, everybody. I'm really glad to be with you all today. I actually sleep this way, so don't think anything different of me having a bow tie on. I'm so happy to be on Zoom. But I love what I do, and I love the fact that the chambers across the country are having to really make different strides in order to take care of our community. So thumbs up to everybody who is thinking way outside the box. Thankfully, the Huntsville Madison Chamber and the Chamber Foundation has really allowed me to just kind of dream and then run with my dream. So originally it was supposed, of course, just like Kate was saying, that this was supposed to be a physical or someplace that all the school systems in Madison County were supposed to come to. We were expecting 650 students. So here comes COVID, this big bully, and shuts everything down. So we were really looking forward to, well, how in the world are we going to make sure that we continue to, number one, enhance the workforce of tomorrow, and also make sure that we are addressing the needs of the seniors that are graduating. So working with an awesome company by the name of Workbay, many of you already know who they are, but Workbay was able to really come alongside of us and really help us create an environment virtually that is really amazing. And I'm going to share it with you in just a second so that you can kind of get a feel for what it's going to look like. We really do want it to be extremely interactive, as interactive as possible. Normally, our career fair would have been one day. We would have only seen those students for maybe 4 hours, maybe 5. They would have interviewed directly on the spot. And we encourage companies to really hire on the spot as well. We want this to be an electric experience for seniors so that they have a great opportunity as they graduate. So as soon as they graduate, we want companies and employers to not only train them on the job, but provide them with a very sustainable wage. So this was a way, technically, for us to actually continue with that and empower these students, empower the class of 2020, and make sure that we're also building up the workforce at the same time. So yes, many companies jumped on. And this year, we're very thankful that Mazda Toyota is going to be our presenting sponsor. But let me just pause to show you how this is going to look. And I'm going to share my screen with you so that you can see it. And I'm hoping that you can see that. Now, this is a part of our website. Smartplace.com is where you can find us. And once you get into a smart place and you go into smart careers, Workbay has built a back end for us, or a learning management system that really does meet our needs. We're going to change the look of our page to really focus in on those students that are coming to the page specifically for the fair. So normally our page would not look this way, but we are changing it specifically for our career fair. So as you notice, it will have our presenting sponsors. So we do have a few of them here, but I want to take us a little deeper on how this opportunity will work for the employer and for the student. So once we jump in, we will actually be able to see or get into the career fair, and the students will actually be able to see all the exhibitors. So we're expecting to have anywhere from 40 to 50 vendors or exhibitors this go around. And because it is virtual, we may actually I'm hoping for more, especially as we make the case for why this is really important and important right now. Let me pause to say that not only is this accessible from the desktop or a tablet, but it's also accessible from their cell phones. So regardless of what they have, if they have a cell phone, a smartphone, they will be able to participate in the career fair as they see it, or as they can wherever they are, even in transit. So that's one thing that I absolutely love about some of the things that we're able to do. But once they're able to click on a company that they're interested in, let's jump in and look to see similar to what they would actually see. So again, Mazda Toyota is our presenting sponsor, but the student will come into this virtual booth, in such a way that they will experience the company as they would. So as they would in a physical or as they would in person. So they will actually get an introduction from a company representative. And once they actually go through, they will actually be able to hear from that company executive or company representative. And that representative will be able to help them understand a little bit more about the company, a little bit more about the company profile, a little bit more about the mission and vision of that company, and why they should choose their company over the others that they're going to see thereafter. So it's a great opportunity to pitch to that student. Hey, don't go any further. I want you to stop right here, drop all your information, and focus on us. But at the same time, what a great opportunity for all 40 to 50 of those companies to really be able to develop something that's very specific for each student that actually visits them. And then they'll be able to actually walk the student through the careers, the specific careers that they're hiring for, and be able to see what those careers really look like. Or to be able to experience them now. So even if they go to apply, and this is one of the major issues that we really want to make sure, will the student be able to apply once they get there? Yes, absolutely. The interview questions, these will be 10 interview questions. 7 of them will be standard questions for all of the companies, and then 3 will be very specific for that company in general. So as the student jumps into this segment here, they will be able to answer those questions specifically by typing in. Now I'm going to pause here for just a second because the employer experience is very important, right? We want to be able to make sure that we're able to show our community members that we are providing them with added value in every turn, even in the midst of crazy COVID, right? So in the midst of this, we want to ensure that they're getting all the information. So the companies will actually get the information as students drop into their booth. So just as they would, in a personal face-to-face experience, they'll be able to see who came, their name. They'll be able to drop their information as far as they'll be able to upload their resume. They'll be able to look at their questions that they've answered, and then they'll be able to schedule a one-on-one interview for those students afterwards online that they're very interested in. So let's just say that the student is very excited about applying. The student will be able to click here and be able to see that specific opportunity and then apply from there. So they'll be able to understand. And of course, just like Amy was able to share with you, we have 2 different types of curriculum for our students in Madison County, North Alabama. One of them is the Career Prep. The other one is called the Career Compass. The Career Compass really walks the student through how to best apply for a position, what type of language to use, how to appropriately develop a resume. And if they don't have a resume, if you notice on the left-hand side here, they actually can build a resume directly in this program, in the software, and then upload it for the company to see as well. So we try to make it as integrated as possible. And if it were not for the geeks and nerds at Workbay, there's no way that we can pull all this together. So it is really we want to make sure that we're providing them with as great of an opportunity as possible and ensuring that companies can really speak directly to the positions that are available, and then ensuring that they can apply now. So let's just say that we have a literary issue with some of the students, and let's just say that a student needs that description to be read to them. Workbay was innovative enough to create an opportunity for this to be actually read to them if necessary. So we want to be able to pull down as many barriers as possible in order to ensure that we have a very detailed experience. So because it is this detailed, we extended we extended the career fair out a few days. So it's going to be from May 13th to May 15th this year. And we're going to provide them with 24-hour access between 9 o'clock on the 13th and noon on the 15th. Once everything is completed, once everything is done, then what will end up happening is that company will receive all the information from each of their booth visitors, and then they will be able to take it from there. So this was the only way for us to figure, well, how can we add value even when we have to be 6 feet apart or socially as distant as possible. So this was a great way for not only Workbay to show its ingenuity, but also for the chamber to show how much we absolutely love and care for our men and, the companies that are around us, and also for the Chamber Foundation to really support our teachers and the educators in that space or in that area. So I am going to stop there. Again, I cannot thank the Chamber enough for just allowing me to dream. Of course, everybody was quarantined to their offices, so I could just dream and bounce my ideas off the walls as best as I could. And this is what we were able to come up with. And I'm so thankful again for Workbay to be able to take all of my my dreams and pull it into one space so that we can really push our community forward. But thank you so much for your time on that.
Thanks, Kent. We have a lot of questions coming in around the cost of working with Workbay and also how much time it took you to get all of that information in and the kind of support that you provided to businesses. So can you talk a little bit about that process and then also the cost of the system?
Okay, so now the cost is going to vary. We have a running contract with them that's been over 3 years, and they are responsible for our smartplace.com as far as the learning management system. So there are different variations, of cost, but I'm going to leave that to Workbay. That's not my call on that one. But at the same time, it was an investment that we knew was going to be very essential. Especially, it really showed itself in a time that we never thought would be. So I'm just very thankful that we were ahead of the game. But now it did not take me very long we just took the same model that we already had and we just created it into a virtual experience. But there was a question, Amy, about the time that it took. Give me that one more time, I'm sorry.
Sure. So the time that it took to get all of that information up for the businesses to create their videos and kind of populate all of that. So how long did that take, and what support did you provide to help them do that?
Very good. So we have provided them with an email that simply runs down 4 or 5 things that they need to do. And they need to provide us with one video, at least one specific position, at least 3 specific interview questions, a description of their company, including the mission and the vision and the values and the company logo. And we're able to take that from a form and then upload it just as you saw it just a few minutes ago. So that is just portions of communication or information that we just simply take from a simple form and then upload it as such. So any video that they want to share, they need to shoot their own video, of course, and make sure that that is the quality that they want, and then be able to send that to us, and we're able to upload that to the site for everyone to see. So they have to have at least 4 or 5 different pieces, and that really is on them. Some of those companies were already on a smart place. However, we just take and pull information to create their specific pages. So it's really on the company, especially as soon as they register for for the event. Now, the event does cost. We are. I know that Kate was saying that also. This is still value added for the company, so we don't look to change that, and it's just as expensive as us really being in a space. So there is still a cost associated, and we're pretty sure that those companies can see the value as well.
Great, thanks. I also have a couple of questions here around how are you encouraging students to participate? How are you getting the message out to them and tracking student participation?
Well, everything's short of stalking at this point, but at the same time, we have a great relationship with the counselors in the area. All 13 high schools, we are really trying to make sure that we push the thought, they still have a relationship, a great connection to all of those seniors, and we want to be able to make sure that the teachers are still moving forward. God bless our educators, because they've had to really shift and change as well, but they're keeping in communication, especially with those seniors. And just making sure. Now, the seniors already knew that this was coming. They just now know that it's coming in a different format. So we're just continuing to stay in front of the superintendents, of the principals, stay in front of the career coaches and the counselors to make sure that we're still building the pipeline for this event. So we are constantly communicating, and we made sure that they knew that this was coming in this format. So that's just having a relationship with them was a big thing.
And then I have a question around when students visit that business page, is there an actual, a representative from the business who they're able to sort of interact with virtually, or is it all the information that's on the page and the video, is that the interaction that they're getting?
That's the interaction that they're getting. Now, I'm pretty sure if we have to do this again, we might be able to do that. But I think that, to be quite honest, to ensure that things are succinct and that people have an opportunity to really talk to a representative, again, we're expecting well over 600 students. So we didn't think that we would be able to do anything of that nature and it actually be time sensitive. So when the student gets there, they will actually receive a video as if that person is actually speaking to them. And then if they are elected or selected for the second interview, that's when they'll have their one-on-one with that company through an app, just through an environment like this or through a one-on-one type of communication device. But we just, for the sake of time and the sake of numbers of students, we knew that we probably need to create something that's a one-stop. Let me grab information, let me write down, let me respond, and then let me continue to move forward. It was probably the most efficient way that we thought about this portion.
Great. And then I have just one more question, a few things around how much do you charge companies to participate, or is this part of their chamber benefit?
Oh, I'm pretty sure that they wish it was part of their chamber benefit, but no, sir, no, ma'am. This is at least $100 for a member, $150 for a non-member, and $50 for a nonprofit. And we ask for that up front. So yes, we want to make sure that we keep all of that in line. And that's what it would have been if we had had a physical one as well, or a physical career fair also.
Great. Thank you so much, Kent. I appreciate you joining and sharing your story with us. So now we're going to move. I know there's a lot of other questions out there. I know several of you may be doing this type of work. Maybe you're using a different platform, or maybe you're trying to host a job fair to connect displaced workers with folks in your community that are hiring. So we know that there's a lot of great examples out there, and we want you all to have the chance to connect with each other, to talk about some of those things, and to ask each other questions about some ideas around. So I'm going to pose 4 questions right now that you might want to consider in that breakout space. So what platforms are people using to facilitate these virtual career and job fairs? How are you communicating with your attendees, both before the event, during the event, and after the event? What kind of feedback are you collecting? And then what does success look like? So I'm going to go ahead and I have created 2 virtual breakout rooms. I'm going to divide our group between those 2 rooms. It may take a few minutes for you to be pulled into one of those breakout rooms, so I just ask for your patience in that. And we're going to have Kate in one room and Kent in another room, so they will be able to answer any additional questions that you might have for them as well. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and open these rooms. We will not come back to this main session. So if you have anything you'd like to follow up with me, feel free to shoot me an email. Keep an eye out for additional roundtables. We will be offering additional topics over the next several weeks, so keep an eye out for that. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and open these rooms, and thanks for joining us in our main session today. Great, so it looks like everyone is set. We have most of our folks joined in this breakout room, so welcome everyone. So I just wanted to again reiterate the questions that we have, but feel free to ask your own questions. This is a time where you can unmute yourself and speak with the group freely. You are also free to continue using chat if you'd like to use that as well. And I will be recording our breakout session too. But the questions we're proposing are around platforms, how you're communicating with attendees, how you're collecting feedback, and what success looks like. So